Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Nick Rizzo again every day. StrivenLife.com. Hashtag Striven Daily Date 19. And today we're talking about our second tip of the 9 tips I'll be doing over the next 7 or 8 more days for entrepreneurs with ADHD. So, again, this is all coming from my new ebook that I just put out this past week called The ADHD Entrepreneur Advantage in 9 Ways to Set Yourself Up for and Your Business Up for Success. So you can simply click the link in the description and download it for yourself and check it out there. But so the second thing I wanted to dig into today was, right, with ADHD, we are very big on the overall picture or ideas or our visions or our goals and our dreams. We have tons of them to the point where it's just overflowing into our lives and interrupting aspects of our days sometimes. And it's important to find a way or a process that we can take these, overarching goals or desires or objectives that we have in our business and in our lives and transform them into easier, smaller, specific tasks that are not as overwhelming as a large objective, right? And so I'm going to talk specifically about business, but this all applies to how we approach things in life as well. For clients that I've had that I coach for their businesses versus the clients I've had for a coach for their life improvement, it's been the same process, and it's all worked for them. So that's why I wanted to share with you guys. So in regards to business, if we look at our business as one massive entity, it becomes rather overwhelming. There's so much to do. There's so much going on. There's so many aspects of a business that have to be taken care of. But you have to start by realizing that your business isn't one piece, right? It's not one thing. It's not the business. There are all these other categories that go into this business that decide whether you are making money, or if you're growing an audience, or if you're building a community, or your email list, or traffic, whatever it is. There's so many things that play a role in it. And the way that I think this is easier for me to explain in a simple terms is think about it as a school, right? I was a teacher for 4 years. I know there's other teachers that follow us on our business page and also in our group. And the school is made up of, I guess you'd say a hierarchy, right? So at the very top, you have superintendents and assistant superintendents and principals and assistant principals and directors and deans or whatever, right? And that's all just above in the administration. Below that, you then have things like teachers, guidance counselors, specialists, maybe some like paraprofessionals or additional help, nurses, janitors, secretaries, security, all these different things. And again, that's not it. We then can go a step further. Within that, we have the school itself and how it's set up and structured and organized and how it works and flows. And then within the classroom, we have the teacher relationships with the individual students, the social and emotional aspect of high school or school in general, right? These are all so many different things that are playing a role in the overall success of the high school. That same aspect applies to a business, right? It's not just one simple thing. It's all these different things playing a massive role in the direction you're going and whether or not you're achieving that growth or having that success you set out for. And so when I first started about, a year or two ago, I struggled a ton with overwhelm. I felt lost all the time because there was just so much going on. And it wasn't until I said, all right, fuck this, right? I know I can do this. I just have to create the approach that works and helps me get through it. And so I came up with a small system. And it starts by simply simplifying everything. Don't like we just said, don't look at your business as one massive thing. Break it down into categories, right? Like there's brand visibility, there's, social media marketing, there's email marketing. These are all different categories of our business. Then as you want to build certain aspects of your business, focus on one individual category. Within that category, I like to make things that I call projects, right? So a project is essentially some new thing. It could be a new marketing initiative. It could be a new product launch. It could be offering a new service. It could be whatever, something new, right? And from there, it's identify the goal and the objective of that project. We want to know why we're doing a certain project in our business. We have to. Without that direction and clarity of where we want to go with this project, then the project is just some actions we're taking that we hope help out, right? And that doesn't do anyone any good. And once we have these goals and the objectives, we can then identify some metrics to measure to see if our progress is occurring, right? We want to make sure we're making progress towards our goals, right? That's important. Then within that project, I do something called, I identify them as pillars. And a pillar is essentially all of the different major ways you're going to go about doing something and succeeding in that project. So, for example, one of the first times I did this, it was about brand visibility. It was my first time trying to actually get organized and get out there. And so what I had as my pillars in that brand visibility project were 3 different Facebook Live shows that I did for about 2 months, utilizing Medium, the social media blog or article type of site, and guesting on podcasts. And so each of those were a certain pillar that I could build up to help reach the goal of my project. Within each pillar, I was then able to identify specific tasks, right? I would lay out everything that would need to be accomplished that I can plan, that I could plan in order to achieve that. So, even looking at one of the Facebook Live shows, there's creating a list of content for the next 8 weeks. There was creating the thumbnails for that content. It was planning out the general talking points. And the list went on and on and on. I don't have to bore you with all of that. And then once you have that list, right, you have your goal for your project in a certain category. You have your pillars. You've broken down those pillars into the specific actions that are going to need to be taken to build it up to reach that goal. Now all you have to do is print out that list, keep it somewhere near you, keep it visible, because at least for me and some of the ADHD clients I've coached, if it isn't visible, it isn't in our mind. Literally out of sight, out of mind. And it makes the action of going through this process less beneficial for us. So then I would print out those lists, and I have them literally on my wall over here, along with like my systems and some other stuff that I do. So that is one simple way you can start to eliminate the overwhelm and find that direction and clarity in what you need to physically go do to build your business, right? And this goes to everything else. If you have a goal of wanting to be able to compete in a marathon, you could break it down the same way, right? In that regard, it's, diet, physical exercise, weight training, recovery, stretching, whatever, right? You could break those down and build out specific tasks you'll do in order to get each of these pillars to build up so you can reach that goal. A lot of hand motions in this one today. So that is the second tip, right? It's set your goal and then break it down into the simplest, smallest tasks you can. And it's okay if there's a lot of tasks, because at least you know everything that needs to happen in order to achieve it and to start growing in the direction you'd like to. And you can simply cross them off the list as you go. But having that list laid out, especially with myself and my clients that have ADHD, it has been phenomenally helpful, because there's no more question. It's, if I took the time to sit down and plan it out, trust in the plan and move forward. Don't let these other ideas that come into our heads to instantly knock us off our plan, but do write them down. Keep them down somewhere. And we'll talk about that later this week when we talk about dealing with the noise and shiny object syndrome. But for today, guys, that's it from me. Again, you can get your copy of the ADHD Entrepreneur Advantage, 9 ways to set yourself and your business up for success, in the description. And also, guys, tomorrow is the very first day of my very first challenge, the strategic goal mapping for maximum clarity, focus, and momentum in your business. It kicks off tomorrow morning. Get the link in the description. Sign up today. Get in there. I shared some of the documents out with some people that are close with me, and they're essentially, people are like, this is very, very thorough, very comprehensive, very detailed, and you're going to be able to walk away knowing, where do I want to be 12 months from now in my business? what needs to happen to get there? How am I going to reach my monetary goals? When am I going to launch certain products or offerings? And how am I going to approach each goal every month in a way that makes sense, that's measurable, that's actionable, that's specific, and allows us to make progress at a higher velocity than you were before? So I hope you check it out. I hope you enjoyed this video today, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you tried something like this before? How has it gone for you? Yes or no? And if you haven't, let me know too, and I'd be more than happy to help you out. So until tomorrow, guys, it's been Nick Rizzo, StrivenLife.com. Have a good one.